Hello, Princess. Here I am aboard beautiful Odyssey of the Seas, and let's talk about something that, well, it comes up constantly, has been coming up constantly lately, because some things are slightly changing, and I'm curious to see where things are going to go. Gratuities, specifically cruise ship gratuities, a source of continual frustration and angst for a lot of people, and it doesn't really need to be that way. Now, the thing is, gratuities tipping is a very North American thing. It's something that's deeply ingrained in our culture, to the point where even when I travel to places where tipping is not expected, is not part of the culture, and is kind of rejected, I feel still compelled to do it because it feels weird not to do so. I get over it, I sort of rationalize it, and that's fine. But it's so deeply ingrained in us that even though we're not supposed to, kind of feel compelled to do it. The problem with gratuities, specifically with the cruise lines, is they're not really gratuities or tips anymore, right? It's not the well, they say tip is to ensure promptness. I don't know, because to insure, which is kind of weird because it doesn't really work. But I don't know. It's really just become an accounting trick, because it's all automatically applied. You can prepay it before you even get the service. It's automatically added to your account on a daily basis, and it's just become such a, I don't know, a technically compliant thing that you can't really call it a gratuity anymore. So why do they still do it this way? Well, I think there's some cruise lines that actually do use this as an accounting trick to avoid recording that as revenue, because then it might be subject to tax. If it goes directly to the crew, then basically the way the accounting works is passengers are directly paying the crew or something like that. Sure, and that's fine. But this is just another example of how, well, as usual, as they always do, the government has made things worse, particularly here in the United States, with tip-based jobs, which allow employers to, well, not really get around, but do the accounting differently. There's a different minimum wage standard and all this kind of thing for tipped jobs. So it's now part of our legal framework as well. And, does it really need to be? No, I just think that people just weren't creative when it came to creating these systems. And what bothers me most is that no one's really trying to change this. It really seems like nobody likes tipping. Nobody likes tipping. Nobody likes gratuities. It's all so automatic these days that you're not really doing it. And a lot of people just want to get rid of it. So, I don't know. The lack of innovation on this subject, I find very frustrating. In fact, the only place that I've seen that's really gotten close, and it was wonderful when they had this, and maybe they still do sometimes, is at Universal in these quasi-table service restaurants, particularly in the Wizarding World, where you just order everything off the phone, and the whole staff brings it to you. Like the food runners could be different every time and everything. So they've really created a team experience, and everything is built into the price of the food. You do pay more, of course, but then everybody is taken care of, and there's no stress about it. And I think a situation or a scenario like that is something that a lot of other establishments could adopt. So, again, Florida Universal kind of lead the way on this. So what is my current thinking about the whole gratuity situation on the cruise lines? Well, it's pretty simple. I see my fare in the auto gratuities as the flat rate. That's it. I have not been prepaying them just because I haven't bothered to ask, but they're just added to my folio. Actually, to be honest, I have a reason for not prepaying them, and that's because I do get a shareholder benefit on the big three, so that kind of offsets the gratuities. And I don't really buy much on board, so for instance, on this sailing here, Odyssey of the Seas, I'm walking away with a balance, not a balance. I'm paying like $14 at the end of the trip, so for me, not prepaying and letting my shareholder benefit take care of that actually worked out. So at least I found a way to get the cruise line to pay the workers a fair wage. Yeah, no, whatever. Anyway, and I do this, and I don't really tip any extra to anybody because, well, basically all this has been agreed. It's what the crew has agreed to. It's what the cruise line has agreed to. It's what us as passengers, paying passengers, have agreed to. So I really don't want to argue with it. If they're going to include the 18% service charge or the daily gratuities, then that's fine with me. They're getting paid, and this is what everyone settled on, and you know what? That's okay. That's the way they want to do the accounting. I don't want to rock the boat. So I think the auto gratuities and what you get added to drinks and everything, or the packages, is perfectly fine. That should cover the regular service, just the regular great service that you get. You know, whatever the cruise line has determined for your cabin attendant to do, like replacing towels and making the bed. The bartenders, you know, mixing your drinks properly and promptly. You know, that's fine. You pay the gratuity, and you just get the regular excellent service, and you know what? It works for me. A couple of cruise lines are trying to be disruptive in this space. For instance, Celebrity is offering some all-inclusive fares, and it is all-inclusive of everything: drinks, Wi-Fi, dining, and gratuity. So you pay the one cruise fare, and all of that is covered. But that is not I think it's an option, or it's not available on all sailings. The one line that is going all in on this disruption is Virgin. So you pay the cruise fare, and that's it. They don't even have specialty dining. So everything you get on board is part of either the fare or what you pay. So even the drinks don't have a service charge added to them, and I really like that experience. So I'm hoping that will sort of spread to the other cruise lines. It's I don't know, it makes me feel better. It's a lot less stressful, and it's one less thing we have to deal with when we get the check, because they still include, even though it's added, that extra line. And on Virgin, I sort of asked about this, and basically the crew is trained to politely not accept any additional gratuity unless the guest insists, and then they don't want to be rude to the guest, so they will take it. But it's they're trying to create a whole ethos about not having to do this, make it all inclusive, and to be honest, it's going to set them up to be a more global friendly brand by just having the all-inclusive rate. Now, one thing I noticed on Virgin is, and I don't know if the lack of gratuities has anything to do with it, but there was a greater sense of teamwork among the crew. So on most of the cruise lines, because the bartenders, the waiters, they get a cut of the service. So if you sit at their table, I'm sure they get credit for that. If the bartender serves you, they get credit for that. If that's not the case on Virgin, then it explains why they kind of had different people doing things. On more than one occasion, I would ask for a drink at the bar. The bartender would start to make it, but then ask either one of the servers or one of the other bartenders to actually record the sale, because maybe it didn't really matter who did it, so long as it was recorded. Then they're all really working as a team, and it was noticeable to me, and it was a great experience, and I think it really worked out, and I really look forward to my next sailing on Virgin, because just taking away that weird North American stress, I think is very valuable to me. So kudos to Virgin and Celebrity, but mostly Virgin, for really taking a stand and trying to end this practice. And for those wondering how to punish the crew for bad service, they may have offended your incredibly delicate and overly sensitive sense of sensibilities, because that's usually the case. Here's the deal. A complaint is far worse than removing the gratuities. That's it. So do not remove your automatic gratuities because you did not like one crew member. It's a dick move, and you're shorting the rest of the crew who had nothing to do with your issue. And, well, yeah, so there's a lot of collateral damage by removing your automatic gratuities. When you get the survey, just fill it out, honestly describe what happened, and the cruise line will take care of it if it's legitimate. So there you go. Yeah, believe me, they do take those surveys very, very seriously. So if you do want to, I don't know, make sure the cruise line knows about what happened, put it in the survey. Just don't remove the automatic gratuities. That's just, I don't know. It's, yeah, like I said, it's not a good move. I'm sure it's been cleaned since then. Anyway, you will often hear people say, you should leave a gratuity for that above and beyond service. So I thought, okay, if the automatic gratuities cover the regular service, what everybody kind of agrees is regular excellent service, well, what counts as above and beyond? And are those situations where you should actually leave something for the person performing that task? And you know what? I thought about it, and there are some things where it is an above and beyond service because of a situation that you created. And yeah, the crewmen probably should be rewarded for, dealing with these situations. So, here's some examples. And one I've been guilty of. I will remember that for the future. So, for instance, if you go to the dining room and you order a lot, like you order multiple dishes in each course, well, that takes a little bit of extra effort. If you think about it, when they take your order, they want you to give them your appetizer, main, and dessert order all at once, so they can prep it and bring it. Well, if you're a complicated guest, like me, I realize that now, then yeah, that's a little bit of extra service, and maybe a couple bucks to that waiter is worthwhile, because it takes them more time than is allotted in their schedule probably to do that. I mean, I don't mind or anything like that, but you know what? It is an above and beyond, and yeah, I think they probably should be rewarded for that. Second, if at the bar you order a bunch of fancy drinks or a large group drink or whatever, that's a little bit extra. Now, some people are going to say, well, they're getting credit for all those drinks anyway. True, but then they usually put on an extra show or something like that with the cups, and they pour it in a certain way and all that kind of stuff. That takes time and skill, and yeah, it's worth a little bit of extra, on top of what you would normally pay. Also, it takes a lot of time away from other guests, so, be considerate of that. So yeah, those group drinks, fancy drinks, whatever, maybe leave a couple bucks when that happens. Something else, if you let's say over-enjoy the drink package and miss the commode in your stateroom, and that has to be dealt with, and I'm sure you're not going to deal with it, well, you tell your stateroom attendant, and they will go and they will give it an extra cleaning. That is an above and beyond service. Definitely leave a 20 for that. No one likes to deal with that. And finally, let's just say the crew's spirit awakens a bit of extra passion and romance, and the bed needs changing. Ew. Yes. Let your stateroom attendant know. They will be happy to change the bed, but leave a 20 because that is above and beyond service. Ew. So, yes, there are situations that are considered, or at least I consider, above and beyond, which would warrant, and for which they do deserve, something extra beyond what's automatically added. And those are my thoughts on gratuities as of, well, right now. And I hope that, the effort that Celebrity and particularly Virgin are putting into the industry will spread out, and some of the other cruise lines will, change their methods to, make the experience a little more calming for a lot of people. I think it'd be really, really great. But more importantly than all of that, yes, I am very well aware that the discussion of the emotional trauma caused by various cruise lines' accounting tricks is just another reason why I am very thankful for my problems.